On this week's show, we take you from the hardwood to the ice to the pool to the track. And we'll hear from Liberty Athletics Director Ian McCall on the state of LU athletics.
Plus, a heartwarming story of Kyle Rode and a young boy who developed a passion for basketball. Flame Central starts right now.
1, 2, go, buddy.
Well, I'm not one to exaggerate, but I have to say, we've got a great show for you here this week. Welcome to Flame Central. I know we say time and time again, but thank you so much for tuning in. We're happy to have you along for the ride. Alongside Emily Austin, I'm Matt Warner.
Don't let him fool you. He always exaggerates, but he's not exaggerating about the show this week. We have something for everyone, and we have a lot of basketball, which makes sense given the way the Flames have been playing as of late.
Yeah, the Flames, the men, entered the week tied atop the conference in the A-Sun with a 7-1 record. Winners of 4 straight, the Flames were looking to make it 5 on Thursday against a surprisingly good Stetson team. These Hatters have been one of the best stories in the conference as they entered the game with a 6-2 A-Sun record. Although you wouldn't have known it from the way the Flames treated them. Liberty jumped out to a lead in the early going, thanks in part to a fast shooting start for Colin Porter. He was one of 5 double-digit scorers on the night for Liberty. The Flames led 36-22 at the half, and they were just warming up. In the second, Shiloh Robinson scored all of his 13 on the night. He also chipped in with 8 rebounds, and Brody Peebles would find the shooting stroke, knocking down a team-high 3 3-pointers. And then there was that stifling Liberty defense. Already 7th best in the nation in scoring D, Liberty held Stetson to 30 points below their season average as LU runs away with it 74-45, improving to 8-1 in conference play.
I do think there'll be a little noise because of the margin of victory, but heck, I don't care if we win by 1 or whatever, right? And I think they have that same approach. And look, this is a good league. I keep saying that, but just look at what the non-conference schedule wins were for the A-Sun. I just think we're gonna keep being tested, and I hope we have the humility and the maturity to handle it or appropriate it properly.
Turning to women's hoops now, fresh off handing FGCU their first conference loss of the season, the Lady Flames would travel to 6-1 Austin Peay. Liberty would lead most of the night, but needed to rally late. A 6-0 run to close out the game would be the difference. LU wins its 4th straight, improving to 6-2 in league play. Emma Hess and Maya Berkman led the way with 14 apiece.
As you may know, Kyle Rode is a crucial part of this Flames basketball program. When you interview other coaches in the A-Sun Conference, they almost always compare one of their players by saying, "He's our Kyle Rode." The guy is that special. Yes, he's a talented basketball player, but more importantly, he's a selfless teammate, a fearless leader, and an extension of the coaching staff on the floor. But believe it or not, his character shines even brighter off the court, and it's been a light in the life of his new friend, Brogan Parsons.
You good? You made 10 in a row yesterday.
I'm just so thankful to God for all that he has done and all that he has given to Brogan.
2 in a row?
Brogan Parsons was your typical 6-year-old boy.
He loves to fish, and so he would be outside all the time.
But what seemed like a normal illness was about to turn the Parsons world upside down.
Just a few of us in the house seemed to have a little bit of a flu. We weren't feeling well, just, flu-like symptoms. And Brogan also had it, I had it, and we didn't think anything of it. We took him to the doctor, and then we came home expecting him to improve, but he started seizing.
Jody's hysterical. I don't know what's going on. He's foaming at the mouth. His eyes are rolled back in his head. He's like a limp noodle. We almost lost him that day. It was very serious. I just kept on believing and praying that he would make it through it.
We later found out, days later, that he came down with the Powassan virus, which is a really rare tick-borne illness, very low percentage of getting it.
The Powassan virus, an illness so rare that fewer than 200 cases were reported in the U.S. between 2011 and 2020, causes infection of the brain. And in Brogan's case, it would drastically alter this once healthy little boy.
What changed is his ability cognitively to understand what we were saying and then also to speak.
He literally had to relearn everything. It was like the reset button was hit. So he had to learn how to swallow. He had to learn how to walk, how to use the bathroom again. He had to learn, and these are just the basic things.
For months, Brogan would be stuck in the hospital. First, there was a coma, then a grueling cycle of medication and sedation as doctors tried to fight the disease that was attacking his brain.
Like living in a nightmare. It got to a point where he would get all of his stuff off and get out the room and run out the room because he wanted to go home. And we'd have to pull him back in, and he would just break down and cry, and he didn't have control over his emotions, and just living in that day after day after day. It was like, God, when is this going to end?
Eventually, Brogan would be cleared to go home. The toll the disease took meant a long, slow road to recovery. But it was during this time that Brogan would develop a surprising passion.
Probably in the last couple of years, he started having a really big interest in basketball. He started just watching a lot of videos, YouTube, and then he wanted to play. It's just been something he just has really grabbed onto.
And so when the Parsons moved to Virginia in the spring of 2022 to be near to family, they began to look for ways to encourage this passion for hoops.
We were looking to see if we can get him involved in playing in a team, even in some camps, some clinics, anything that we could find.
It was then that the family was introduced to Liberty basketball player Kyle Rode.
I actually had a mentor of mine reach out. He mentioned to me that he knew a family that had a young kid that loved hoops and was looking for somebody to work him out and just to kind of be like a little mentor for him. And so I was, of course, all about it.
But how exactly would this work?
You? All? Right? Yeah, all?
Brogan is steadily improving, but his speech and cognitive abilities pose a different kind of coaching challenge.
Without even knowing anything about Brogan, Kyle just readily agreed to train him and work with him.
1, 2. Good, buddy. Perfect, perfect, perfect.
He met him, and immediately he didn't see any obstacles. He connected with him immediately. He communicates with him like I have never seen anybody communicate with him. He has this way of teaching, this very kind, patient, gentle, fun way that he works with Brogan. And Brogan just looks up to him and responds to him so well. It's amazing.
3, 2, 1. Yeah. Good. Hey, you were fast. With Brogan, he is so smart, and like once he sees something, he does it just like that. It's really amazing. So a lot of times I'll demonstrate it, and normally he does it right off the bat. So it's pretty wild to see. And now we've been training for so long, I can just tell him, hey, 1 dribble, and he'll know what to do, or hold his follow through, and just little keys like that he's picked up on, and he's so smart.
And what started as relationships centered on learning the game of basketball has quickly flourished into something far greater.
I can't even, describe it the way that they are together. And I know that Brogan just looks at him like a big brother. Brogan will tease Kyle, and Kyle will tease him back, and they'll just be laughing. And it's just really amazing when you watch the two together.
I think a lot of people kind of see the relationship and be like, oh, you're giving back, when really he's poured into me and gave me just a joy and a love for basketball in a different way. And it's so pure, like, to see him with learning and loving the game. Throughout my whole life, like, one thing I've tried to focus on is meaningful relationships. And this has probably been one of the most meaningful relationships I've had, especially with somebody younger than me, and through basketball. It's been a big blessing, man, and the platform God has given me at Liberty, and God orchestrated it, and couldn't have happened any other way, and it's been a blessing.
And while the road to healing is far from finished for Brogan, the game of basketball and his relationship with Kyle are helping him get better every day.
I love Papa.
I'm so thankful for all these blessings because Brogan he's thriving. He's so happy. He is so fun. He's funny. And, you know, without all these things, I don't think he would have gone so far. And we're so thankful we have this opportunity to be with Kyle and to work with him because it has really had such a strong impact on Brogan's life.
Matt Warner, great job putting this story together. What better guy can you ask for than Kyle Rode to be a part of a kid like Brogan's life?
Yeah, unbelievable. It's been so cool seeing the two of them and that relationship. Kyle is so proud and has so much pride in Brogan, how much he's accomplished, how hard he's worked. Kyle's texting me pictures from Brogan's games. Brogan's on a team now. He's texting me pictures from his games. There's so much pride there. And it really is like a kind of a brother relationship. It's so cool to see how Kyle's poured into him, but how Brogan has really changed the life of Kyle in turn.
I am really hoping that Kyle Rode stays for that extra year.
Yeah,
we'll
no
have
doubt.
to have a little talk with him. All right, well, many of you know Kyle Rode was our guest on the Flame Central podcast, powered by Alcova Mortgage. Last week. This week, Athletic Director Ian McCaw stopped by the studio to talk about all things Liberty Athletics. We discussed the Chadwell hire, new facilities on campus, and much more. But something we thought was really interesting was what McCaw said about the transfer portal.
High school students, if they have an SEC, ACC offer, it's really hard to say no to that and yes to Liberty. But once they go and maybe it's not everything they hope for and they transfer to Liberty, they're just blown away. And same thing we hear as well, that facilities, culture, environment, people, there's a big reason why we're the fastest growing athletic program in the country. And obviously, if we didn't have the resources from the university and the administration, we couldn't do it. And that's been facilities, it's been budgets, it's been salaries, and it's allowed us to move from the Big South to the ASUN to Conference USA, and really gives us just great potential into the future as well. It's just an incredible place. And until you're really here and part of it, you can't really appreciate it. It's really unique.
Oh, Ian, I couldn't agree more. Imagine getting to work with Rhett and Matt every day. This is just a special place. Hey, do you want to hear my Liberty mascot joke?
No!
Okay, fine. Well, what about what's next for Liberty Athletics in terms of facilities?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, then go listen to our entire conversation with Ian McCaw. While you're at it, download and subscribe to the Flame Central podcast. It's powered by Alcova Mortgage. You won't regret it. You can even watch the podcast on YouTube.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Hope you check it out. All right, we turn now to a frightening moment this past weekend at the Liberty hockey game. It was a moment that drew the attention and prayers of Flames fans everywhere. With about 13 minutes to play in the first period of Liberty hockey's game against UNLV, senior forward Josh Fricks went down after a hit against the boards. He would have to be taken off the ice on a stretcher, airlifted to a hospital in Roanoke. His teammates would surround him, praying for their fallen teammate, who would eventually be diagnosed with a broken neck in 2 places. Now, he has since had surgery, regained some of the movement he had initially lost. Liberty head coach Kirk Handy spoke about this scary moment and how God has worked through it all.
It's been awesome to see the miracles that have happened here just in the past 48 hours, just with just little steps of progress he's made, just having God's hand on him the whole time. When we first got injured, the spinal cord was not severed, and so that was a huge blessing. And then the surgery went really well. And a big part of what we're trying to do is just to say, listen, we don't understand it. We don't know why it happened, but, God's got a purpose in this whole thing and in each one of our players' lives as well as in Josh's life. He's in for a long road, and we're going to be with him each step of the way.
We're now joined early by Rhett McGibbon, who was on the call of that game. Good news about the surgery going well, but what can you tell us about that terrifying moment during the game?
Yeah, it was crazy. It felt like somebody unplugged the Lehigh Ice Center, right? And that's a hot ticket in Lynchburg. Like, that building is rocking, but right from the hit, when Josh went down, everybody could tell that it was a serious injury, and it just had that eerie, quiet feeling. I've never experienced anything like it in a live game before.
A scary situation, but as we've seen, a lot of good has come from it in a
sure.
way, and we've certainly seen God's hand at work.
Yeah, definitely. You know, the outpouring of prayers and just people, their thoughts coming throughout the ACHA world was huge. But the coolest thing, I think, Josh Frick's parents just happened to be in Lynchburg for this weekend series, which is kind of scary because they're from California to see that live of your son. But Mr. Fricks was able to just talk to the crowd before the midnight game, really laid out the plan of salvation, how happy he was that his son has, you know, faith in Jesus Christ. That was really moving.
That's cool.
All right, we'll keep you posted on Josh's road to recovery here in the future. All right, coming up after the break, we hit the pool and the track to share some record-breaking results from recent meets.
Plus, Rhett, he's not going anywhere. He's sticking around to bring you an all-new warm, hot, and fuego. Flame Central coming right back.
Welcome to Liberty University's online programs, where living out your calling with integrity is what you train to do. And getting ready for the future doesn't mean missing out on the now. Because a university is more than buildings and books. And an education should set you free, not fence you in. Welcome to Liberty's global campus, where distance learning was pioneered and evolved into one of the top-ranked schools in the nation. Where protecting your budget, your time, and your education isn't just a theory, it's our priority. Here, degrees in your field reflect industry demands and help you get ahead of the competition. Where college comes to you, but you can come to college too. Game day, homecoming, graduation day. Your school, your values, your experience, your choice. Welcome to Liberty University, where we train champions for Christ.
On this mountain stands a legacy. 50 years of miracles, of mountaintop moments. One mission from the start, training champions for Christ. On this mountain, our flames burn brightly. We have a culture of academic excellence, unified in Christ and authentic community. Though we come from different paths and places, the same fire burns in all of us. And 125,000 strong, we cheer each other on around the stadium and around the world. On this mountain, our intensity lights up the night. We coach forward, push onward, honoring Christ in every sphere of our lives. We serve, give, and volunteer, grateful for all that we have been given. For 50 years, Liberty University has stood united in our mission. On this mountain, we train champions for Christ.
Future career will ask you to analyze, assess, implement, react, make smart decisions in a split second. With the Liberty University degree, you'll be ready because your first day on the equipment comes long before your first day on the job. Get ready to take on tomorrow, today.
You might have heard some things about Liberty University, like how we're just a little Christian school in the middle of nowhere. And there's nothing to do here. I mean, come on. You know us. Boring.
Boring?
Yeah. They say we don't work as hard, think as hard, try as hard.
I object.
The truth is, well, we might surprise you.
Welcome back to Flame Central. We now turn our focus to Liberty swimming and diving. The Lady Flames held a two-day meet, wrapping up their regular season with a victory over Campbell. It was also senior day, as LU honored its 6 seniors before the meet. Hannah Hunefeld, Maggie Hunefeld, Alexis Plogger, Jessica Schnellenboom, Rachel Strickland, and Eva Suggs all were recognized. As far as the competition goes, well, the Lady Flames basically dominated the entire meet, winning every single event but one. Our very own Abby Shaw, yeah, she's a good friend of the show, crushed it from the 200 medley relay, 200 freestyle relay, the 100 and 200 backstroke. She has swept the backstroke events at 4 different meets this season. Bottom line, if you want to work at Flame Central, you have to be a champion. Up next for the Lady Flames, they look to claim the title at the 2023 CCSA Swimming and Diving Championships, February 15th through the 18th. All right, just next door to the natatorium, Liberty Track and Field was hosting the Branch Holzma Invitational Indoor Meet. There were so many great results from this from both programs. Let's look at a few. On the men's side, sprinter Donald McClinton took first in the 200, while Amari Lewis set a new meet record in the 60. For field events, John Hicks finished on top in weight throw, while Warren Barrett set a new Liberty record and meet record in the shot put. On the women's side, Natasha Bryan broke her own Liberty freshman record in the pentathlon, and Paola Bueno landed in first place in the weight throw.
Oh, boy, Emily, good job tackling all those names.
sure.
Nice work. She beat the odds there. All right, time for Warm, Hot, and Fuego. Rhett McGiven back on the show here. Rhett, top player moment the past week in Liberty Athletics. Let's start with Warm. Who you got?
Yeah, we're going to go players. Shiloh Robinson, men's basketball. Real quick, a little fun little bit about him, right? He's from Kearney, Nebraska.
Right.
Sandhill crane capital of the world. You know, like a crane as in a bird, not like a machinery.
Oh, gosh, I thought you were going to tell Emily's joke. She's got a crane joke. I won't even.
No, I'm not going there. Yeah, too classy here. But it's got tons of birds just everywhere. If you want to see Sandhill cranes, head out to Nebraska.
I had no idea. And get you some runza while you're there. You're eating runza?
No, I haven't.
We'll talk about it later. All right, tell me more about Shiloh.
Yeah, Shiloh posted double-double, 17 points, 10 boards in just over 33 minutes of action against North Florida. Flames lately have been home wreckers, right? Going in Jacksonville, breaking up their streak, North Florida as well. But if you can get Shiloh playing this way, Liberty is almost an impossible out in my mind in the A-Sun. He's averaging just over 13 points and over 5 rebounds in his last 4 games. And when you see that, Liberty's just been running, right? Like they've been running the table, so he has been excellent here lately.
He seems to have really adapted well to coming off the bench, too.
Yes.
So that's been key for the Flames.
For sure.
From Warm, we go to Hot.
Maria Perra-Romero, you know, when we talk about women's tennis, this last year, a
Stud.
freshman, you know, was just absolutely phenomenal coming into her sophomore season, super sophomore, right back at it, winning both of her singles matches against Middle Tennessee and Florida International, going 6-2, 6-3 over Love Star Alexis, who was the #1 for Middle Tennessee, and then just 6-3, 7-5. Like, she's not playing around. She's
like, I got places to be. We're going to make this quick.
Exactly. She's like, you know, conference play is coming up. I just need to get my rest early because she just works, and she works hard. You know, talking to Coach Marin, he's always mentioned her as a hard hitter. That's gritty. Not a lot of finesse to her game. It's just power, power, power. And it's really difficult for teams to stick with her.
Yeah, all right. And finally now in Fuego, Rhett, our top honor this week. Who does it go to?
It's going to a pair of athletes. This is women's basketball in the dying stages against Florida Gulf Coast University. Some really clutch plays here. And it's going to start with Emma Hess. All right, you're down 3, right? And then Hess had not had a great night, but finally they find her, and boom.
You can't let her get a look.
No, you can't. And I like it. Little pose at the end there. Good for her. Then Dee Brown comes into play with some huge defensive plays here.
Jump dog, Rhett.
Exactly. Like, you've got 3 seconds, right? You're thinking, okay, we only need to do this once. First off, hands on the 50-50 ball. She was pumped up right there, stripping it away. Shot didn't go. Inbound play, what does she do? She stuffs it.
Unbelievable.
It was huge. Dee Brown, massive play. Liberty goes on to win in overtime. Tremendous effort by her. So much fun to watch. First win against Florida Gulf Coast for the ladies.
You knew after they got those critical stops, there's no way you lose that game. The momentum going into overtime, you knew the Lady Flames were going to pull it out. Huge win, and great job by you today, Rhett. Rhett, we appreciate you coming on and all you do here for us. All right, still to come, we bring back our My Moment segment, this time focusing on Liberty hoops. It's a fun one. Stick around. Flame Central coming right back.
So you're looking for a university that's perfect for you, a school that has anything you could possibly need.
Anything?
You want a place that has the programs you want to study, and maybe a few more, just in case you change your mind.
I think I'm going to sign up for the fashion design program.
All right. A place with state-of-the-art facilities. I mean, look at this campus.
And who doesn't love big time sports?
And great recreational activities.
Okay, now we're on a roll. Somewhere you can hike, slide, strike, shoot, climb, eat, and most importantly, eat. You want a place that takes you to space? Okay, maybe not, but we can teach you how to fly, or pastor a church, or run a business. And all that with a great view? Yeah, I think I know a place.
Does education mean a room with 4 walls, a desk, and a PowerPoint lecture?
Or is it something bigger?
What if it's the people beside you, 1 chair away or 1 ocean away?
What if it's the chance to learn from your mistakes, as well as your victories?
And the push to keep going either way. What if it's the freedom to reach for bigger things without missing the little ones in between?
For each of us, education looks a bit different.
Because we're each a bit different.
But at Liberty, we think education might just mean something big enough for all of us.
That's Liberty to us.
What will Liberty be to you?
Hey, welcome back to the show. Do you remember that segment, My Moment, where we asked Liberty football players their favorite play on the gridiron? Do you remember that? Yeah, you put them together, so you would. Well, you liked it so much, we decided to take that same segment and take it to the hardwood.
Yeah, and if you know anything about Liberty hoops, there are plenty of moments to share with you. And ironically enough, Isaiah Warfield and Joseph Van Zandt share the same moment.
I'm Joseph Van Zandt, sophomore guard.
And I'm Isaiah Warfield, and I also play guard for Liberty men's basketball. My favorite moment was I got a steal at the end of our first game against Regent last year.
Until this point, the Flames have been difficult on the defensive end. Now the steal by Warfield.
And I was able to throw an alley-oop to Joseph Van Zandt for his first college dunk.
Definitely had to be my first game. The lob from Zay.
The lob, Van Zandt sends it in! The freshman bringing Liberty Arena to its feet.
It's one of those things that you're anticipating the whole game, you know, you're looking for that highlight play.
At first I got the steal, I didn't really see much.
Double team, throws it up, stolen away by Warfield.
But I caught a glance of Joseph running on the right.
Left, Isaiah, alley-oop, it's in! Oh, baby! Alley-oop dunk!
Probably didn't have to do it, but, you know, we kind of needed to.
I was just overwhelmed with excitement, seeing how happy he was and then seeing the bench's reaction, and it just brought a lot of joy to me.
You're gonna see a lot more of that in the future.
Pure adrenaline, you know, kind of hung on the rim, went off, yelled, you know, that was just one of the memorable moments I had.
An exclamation point on this first win of the season for the Flames.
All right, so I love how Joseph Van Zandt's like, we didn't have to do it, but they're like, we had to, though.
Right.
I mean, the calls for this, they just get better every single time I edited my moment.
Listen, when it's a 40-point game, you don't expect an exciting call like that, but I was glad they gave us one there.
And the last 10 seconds,
yeah,
too.
Absolutely. All right, hey, we're about out of time. Last 10 seconds for us. Don't forget, check out the website, libertyflamecentral.com, for any stories you might have missed.
And don't forget to check out the Flame Central podcast powered by Alcova Mortgage. Download and subscribe today. For Matt, I'm Emily.
See ya.